everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jazz, and today we're going to be talking about Saturn moving direct in the sign of Pisces. Now, Saturn's been retrograde since June 29th of this year, and it's going to be going direct on November 15th of this year. So right on the full moon that we're going to have in Taurus, which I will do its own separate video about, in which I will talk about this because it's important, but I felt like this also warranted its own video. Saturn has been retrograde, like I said, for the past 4.5 months, and he's been giving us a chance to integrate some of the lessons that he had given us while it was direct, and also possibly presented us with some blockages, inner or outer blockages, to teach us some humility, to teach us some patience. And while this may have been frustrating during the retrograde period, generally, as Saturn starts to gain momentum and move forward again, we start seeing new roads open. It's almost like while the retrograde is happening, there's this haze over the road that we were supposed to take. And this is depending on where Saturn and Pisces falls in your own personal chart, and I will do the all signs later. But it's almost like there's this haze that's been over this road. And as Saturn is stationing to go direct, it's almost like the fog is starting to lift, and when it lifts, the blockage may still be there on that road, but you might find that there are actually other roads that we can take. And so we see that sometimes we have to sit with the obstacles and know that no amount of pushing can make it go away. Sometimes it can. You know, retrogrades aren't a time in which nothing moves, right? Because if you think about the outer planets or the more slow moving planets, they're retrograde for a lot of the year. So if nothing happened in the Saturnian part of our chart, wherever it's transiting, for 40% of the year, I don't know, that just doesn't feel like, that doesn't feel plausible. It's just that things happen more slowly, and the focus of Saturn becomes more inward. And it's such a beautiful time to work with Saturnian energies because, in my opinion, when planets go retrograde, we feel them more intensely internally. So it's like, it teaches you the lesson of having to sit with the obstacles and have patience and humility during that, and build this sort of like inner strength and understanding that maybe this is a time for you to have some sort of a blockage for some sort of a reason that maybe you don't understand and you'll never understand maybe, or you'll understand in the near future. So during retrograde periods, movement is definitely possible. It just happens to be slower because of said blockages. But as it's moving direct now and gaining speed, I really do think we're going to start seeing some more movement in this part of our chart. So like I said, it's been retrograde since June 29th of this year. So what kind of themes were happening around June in the part of your chart that Saturn's currently residing in? And over the past 4 months, how has that shifted? What have been some blockages you've been experiencing? The people who are probably feeling these blockages the most are Pisces with an asterisk, because of course it's happening in your sign. So really gonna be affecting you. Geminis, Virgos, and Sagittarius. So the mutable signs, especially if you have anything from 12 to 19 degrees. Now you can put 2 to 3 degrees on either side. So like 9 to 22 degrees, but if you have any of these placements at 19 to 12 degrees, for sure you're feeling exactly what I'm talking about. Saturn's going to be leaving Pisces next year, but it's going to come back into Pisces on September 1st of 2025 until February of 2026. So while we are feeling like we're going to be closing out these themes, I believe Saturn's moving into Aries May 25th of next year. But just a reminder that we will be maybe not revisiting these exact themes, but Saturn's going to re-enter Pisces at the end of next year. So just something to think about. Currently, Jupiter, which is the ruler of Pisces along with Neptune, is retrograde and in its detriment in the sign of Gemini. It went retrograde on October 9th. So these blockages may have felt even more intense. You may have felt them more intensely since October 9th, when the ruler of the sign went retrograde as well. Now, in a previous video, I talked about the Saturn-Jupiter square that happened back on August 19th. We're going to have another one that's happening in December. And in that video, I talked about how the retrogrades were going to be flipped and how I felt like that was going to influence each of the squares differently. So in August, Saturn was squaring Jupiter, but Saturn was retrograde and Jupiter was direct. And in December, when this square happens, Saturn's going to be direct and Jupiter is going to be retrograde. And I'm going to talk about that more as it gets closer, but I just thought it'd be interesting to note that it might not be until Jupiter goes retrograde that things really start making sense. So that's going to be February of 2025. You may not see peak resolution until February of next year. So just keep that in mind. So how this is going to be affecting you is really contingent upon which house it's going to be falling into, depending on your rising sign. You can also listen for your sun and moon sign, and you'll get some different perspectives of how this is going to be affecting your life during this time. Hi, my Aries, sun, moon, and rising. Saturn is going direct in your 12th house. Your 12th house is spirituality, solitude, grief, healing, self-undoing, places of solitude, overseas travel. This is a big house. This is a house of faith. This is a house of believing in something greater than yourself. And it's also a house where we can really dive deep into the subconscious and the areas that we limit ourselves. And for you guys specifically, Saturn rules your 10th and 11th house. So its transits always have something to do with networks that you're a part of, organizations that you're a part of, friend groups, but also your career and your public standing and your reputation. So since it's been retrograde from June 29th, you may have been really pushed to do a lot of spiritual work and have had this feeling of almost like testing your spiritual strength through career challenges or feeling unsupported in some way by groups of people or the people that that are around you at this time. It's almost like a test of faith. If you've been trying to do any overseas travel, there could have been blockages around this. You could have been doing a lot of subconscious work around what is keeping me back from being the highest version of myself and showing that to the world. What is holding me back from finding the communities that are in sync with me, that are in harmony with me, that support me, the organizations, the friend groups, the communities. And really digging deep to figure out why am I keeping myself from being in those communities and being around those people? Yeah, so I got the Eight of Cups and Temperance. And the Eight of Cups is always this card of like disappointment, recognizing that something is not working out the way that you wanted and having to reconcile that internally by walking away. This is, like I said, this is the house of loss. This is the house of where things fall away. And so for some of you guys, it may be that there is an emotionally dissatisfying situation, maybe in your career, maybe in your network, like I said, that you've had to recently walk away from, and you're feeling really upset about that. Saturn in the 12th can feel quite heavy, especially when it's retrograde, because the 12th is already a place where we go internally, right? It's your subconscious. It's what's hidden from us. And it's this murky waters of Pisces. And Saturn likes solidity. Saturn likes form. The Eight of Cups can also talk about escapism. And I wonder if for some Aries, during this retrograde period, when you were kind of pushed to go more internally into this 12th house, you saw that there were problems that you found the blockages that were keeping you from leading a fulfilling external public life and finding the groups that are supportive to you. And now that Saturn is going direct, it's going to give you an opportunity to be able to take action towards that. You may also be falling into the realm of escapism. Like I said, this is a heavy placement. And so you may have just decided to withdraw. And we can withdraw in a healthy way, but we can also withdraw in a unhealthy way. And so like the temperance coming up, I think is indicative of make sure you're taking care of yourself. And the 12th house always looks to the 6th house. So make sure that you're taking care of not just your spiritual, emotional self, but also your body during this time. Make sure you're getting outside. Make sure you're moving. I feel like there is a balance that's indicated, recognizing that when Saturn's in your 12th, there is a lot to deal with on a very deep emotional level. Give yourself some grace. You're truly doing the best that you can. The North Node is still in your sign, and it's going to be there until January. So it's hard because Saturn in the 12th, it can sometimes feel like this nagging like itch that you can't scratch. But then the North Node is pushing you to expand, pushing you to move into new horizons. And so there's a balance that's needed right now, is how can I move forward without abandoning certain parts that I know need tending to, whether that's in my mind, emotions, or body. You know, it's good to not forget that Pluto is still going to be at the 29th degree, about to move into Aquarius for good, just days after this transit, after Saturn goes direct. So it's like, once again, this feels like it's gonna, for a lot of you guys, be really heavily oriented toward in what ways am I holding myself back in my career, in my public standing, in my legacy, in my service to the world. And you're gonna feel a push, and for some of you guys, that may be walking away from a job, maybe walking away from a relationship, something that you were emotionally invested in that is no longer fulfilling you. That's a hard decision to make. So once again, give yourself grace. Ultimately, Saturn going direct is a good thing because it means you can start taking action. It says that all those blockages that you found, all the issues that you had, all the tests of faith that happened, you can start moving in a new direction and actually learning from them, putting them to good use, which Saturn loves. Aries, let me know how this resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. For my Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Saturn is moving direct in your 11th house. So this has to do with groups, communities, people that support you, a larger network, organizations, your hopes, dreams, and for the future. What can this look like in your life? So since March of 2023, Saturn has been pushing you to really find the right communities that help you grow, and that in some ways give you a sense of authority, a feeling of authority there. It may have also been trying to really make you get serious about your hopes and dreams for the future, what you intend on doing with the future. But since June of this year, you've been feeling some blockages there. You've been having issues regarding finding the right groups, or maybe you found a group, but now, or a network or an organization, and now you're feeling like it doesn't resonate. There was some sort of reevaluation that has been necessary over the last 4 months. Now for you guys, Saturn rules your 9th and 10th house. So this always has something to do with your beliefs and with your career and life direction and the service you give to the world. So for you guys, I really feel like there was some sort of community you were seeking in order to help advance your career, your belief system. And maybe that's been put to a stop. There's been blockages in that area of your life. And now that Saturn's moving direct, it's going to give you an opportunity to take all the information that you've gotten as you've gone internally and sat with those blockages and find a new way forward, whether that's the intended plan and the blockages are removed, or if there are new ways that are shown to you now. for a lot of you guys, this could be career oriented. And soon after this, just a few days, Pluto is going to actually move into your 10th house. So I really feel like for a lot of you guys, it is very much oriented around career. I also already got some tarot cards as I was shuffling. And I got the World and the Page of Cups. And then I got the Five of Swords and the Two of Wands. So it feels like for a lot of you guys, there is an emotional rebirth that's happened during this time that you've had with Saturn internally. And it's for that reason why you've had to pull away. And now you are moving towards a new direction, and you are being given an opportunity to choose a new direction that's more in alignment with this new sense of you, because this is your emotional body, the Page of Cups and the World. There's a new way in which you are deciding to move forward with emotions. The Five of Swords tells me that there is or has recently been a lot of conflict. You've got this Scorpio sun, you've got Lilith, we've got Juno in your 7th house, and you're gonna have a full moon in your sign on the same day as the Saturn moving direct, which of course is looking to your 7th house. And so I wonder if there's been some sort of argument or conflict within the relationship recently, or during these last 4.5 months. There's been a lot of conflict, a lot of disagreements, a lot of sense of competition in the workplace for some people, or feeling like other people have something that you want and feeling really jealous or resentful around it. And what I'm hearing is that this is the time to choose a new direction. With this full moon in Taurus that's happening on the same day, it's a culmination for you of a new way of being, right? I think this is what this is picking up on, is the full moon of Taurus, honestly. And from that space, as Saturn moves direct on that day, you are choosing a new way. And you are choosing to only have battles that matter. You know, it's really about what conflicts really matter in the grand scheme of things. And how can I apologize and let go of my ego involvement in certain situations or battles or conflicts that I'm currently in that are not serving me? Another thing my eye is, going towards is the fact that you have North Node in the 12th house, right? You've had this since July of last year. And I'm thinking about the South Node in the 6th, and how your focus has really been on the spiritual realm rather than the physical realm, which as a Taurus is not very common. I'm hearing that for some Tauruses, though, they need to hear that your body needs tending to right now. Seeking the spiritual side of things is beautiful, and with the North Node there, it's kind of what you're grasping for and expanding upon. But for some reason, I'm hearing right now that some Tauruses need to hear that. Take care of your body too. Make sure you haven't neglected your body. Pluto is going to be moving into your 10th house just days after this transit. And so this new community that you're building upon will really have something to do with your career. They're very intertwined. And your belief system. I feel like your belief systems have been changing a lot over the last 4.5 months, and that's contributing to you deciding to go on this new path. This new path is not just going to be your career, but also the people that you surround yourself with. Uranus is finishing up its tour in your guys' sign, and so it's going to be there for several months. I believe it moves into Gemini in in July of next year. So you still got some time, but Uranus is really going to be pushing you towards these shocking electric changes that it's been wanting you to make in your sense of self. With Saturn direct, it just feels like things are going to be moving a lot faster for you. In the beginning of the video, I talked about how some people may need until February, but I definitely think movement is going to start very soon, much sooner than that for you. All right, Taurus, let me know how this resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I already got a card for you guys. 8 of Pentacles. Saturn is moving direct in your 10th house. Your 10th house of career, public status, reputation, your legacy, the service you offer the world. It's kind of a directional house as well. Like, where are you taking your life's work? Over the last 4.5 months, things may have come to some sort of a halt. There may have been some other issues that you've had to deal with. These may have been regards to your marital problems, financial problems, maybe some shared resources, whether that's with a partner, a business partner, a bank, not getting the money that you need in order to move forward in your career. So even lacking clients, let's say, because 8th house can be money from other people. It could have also been that you needed to change your mindset and you needed to change your beliefs about something. You needed some sort of a spiritual guide in order to move forward in your career and your sense of life direction. But now Saturn's moving direct, it's asking you to take that information that you've learned and put it to use. Saturn in the 10th is fortifying your authority out in the world. For a lot of people, for a lot of Geminis, this can look like becoming a authority in your field. For some people, that may be embarking on a new adventure. And especially because we've had Uranus in the 12th, and we have a full moon in the 12th on the same day as Saturn moving direct on November 15th, which is going to be a culmination of some of your efforts in your spiritual life. And I think for a lot of Geminis, that spirituality has had a lot to do with their changes in their career or reputation, public status. For a lot of you guys, this may be that now you are learning new skills because of this going inward during Saturn retrograde and seeing what blockages there were. Like I said, the money wasn't there. There were emotional issues within partnerships. There were emotional issues deep within your psyche that you had to figure out. And now you've kind of seen some of those things, and now you're ready to start working again. Saturn's going to move out of this part of your chart in May of next year. It's going to move back again in September. But, I think you're starting to see now, like, okay, we're on a new direction and we are going to move toward this direction. And in order for me to do that, I need to have mastery over some skills. And I need to just put my head down and work. Regardless of all this, Jupiter is in your sign and it is currently retrograde. So you may be feeling like for a while there was expansion starting last month, October 9th. You may have been feeling the call that, the expansion has kind of come to a halt because the focus is kind of on your inner journey right now and learning to evaluate, okay, how were the last several months of Jupiter in my first house? And am I going to continue expanding in that way, or do I need a new direction? Because when Jupiter's in your first house, you get the choice. Jupiter in the first can be great for vitality and health as well. So that may have been great for you guys this year. And at this time, you're reflecting upon that and what kind of changes you need to make. Page of Swords. And the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh. This is a new way of being in the world. And for you guys, I feel like it's something to do with communication. And some of your past efforts coming to fruition now. The Wheel of Fortune is quite karmic in that we are rewarded for the work that we've done. And while all placements in some ways are karmic, Saturn tends to carry an extra oomph in that department. So now that it's going direct, wow, I just got the chills. It feels like you are reaping the rewards of a lot of work that you've been doing. Like I said, maybe in your spirituality, but also, you guys have Mars in Leo in the 3rd house right now. So maybe you're understanding that this new way that you want to show up in the world is through communicating in a new way. It's opening up the lines of communication. Maybe it's through writing, maybe it's through speaking. And this has something to do with your 10th house. So maybe this is a call to write or communicate about your career. And maybe you have been scared to talk openly about the changes that you've made in your career, the things that you want to do in your career and your public life. And now you are getting the courage to speak about it more openly. This is a reaping of rewards for you. For you guys, Pluto is about to move out of your 8th house. This has been very difficult. So just days after this transit begins on November 19th, Pluto is going to move into your 9th house, which is going to be astronomically easier for Gemini. Pluto in the 8th was about diving deep into transformation, diving deep into the psyche, working within shared resources and intimate partnerships, and healing the psyche and psychology. And now it's moving into the 9th house of mentors, of travel, of law and philosophy. And it's just an easier house for us because it's a fellow air sign. And I think there is going to be a lot more lightness and ease in the way which Gemini move forward now. And they're going to have and feel more authority in their standing socially. So Gemini, let me know how this resonates for you guys. Please make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. All right, so for my Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, Saturn is moving direct in your 9th house. Now, your 9th house is the house of philosophy, higher education, long distance travel, law and legal issues, spirituality, religion. It is through expansion of the consciousness and exploration, expanding our horizons, publication possibly, finding meaning and truth and wisdom. And I got for you guys the Hierophant and the Page of Wands, which the Hierophant really speaks to me of either higher education or philosophy, because the Hierophant is someone who is traditional and believes in some sort of traditional structure. So I wonder if for some of you guys, you've been exploring higher education, spirituality, and having like a framework for that spirituality, like astrology or Buddhism or Christianity, something like that, some sort of philosophy like Stoicism that you've decided is what you are using to help yourself get through this, because you guys just had Mars in the 1st house. So, and it's not over, right? We're going to have Mars going back and forth over your 1st and then going into your 2nd. So you're really going to have a chance to figure out what your values are during this time and how to move forward with those values. Some of you guys may be getting some really exciting news once Saturn goes direct on November 15th. Saturn being in the 9th house has been, it's kind of like Saturn in the 12th, but different. If you have been trying to get anything published, you may have had issues with that. If you've been trying to do some long distance travel, you may have had issues with that. If you have been trying to attain some sort of immigration status, blockages within there. Some sort of test of your spirituality, some sort of test of your faith, or testing you through your higher education or through your philosophy and your sense of meaning and truth in the world. Feeling like you don't know what that is, or every time you try to expand yourself to understand it, Saturn wouldn't quite allow it to happen. But now that Saturn is moving direct, any blockages that you've sat with, they may open up for you now. You may see the new roads. I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's a new road because of the Page of Wands. This is being open to changes happening creatively, or feeling inspired by a conversation, or like I said, getting some sort of a message that inspires you to move a new way. Saturn naturally rules your 7th and 8th house. So for a lot of you guys, this has to do with relationships. Whether that's relationships to a marriage partner or a long-term partner or a business partner, some sort of contracts that may have gone awry. It could also be other people's money because of the eighth house involvement. So it could be that, you know, you've been wanting to travel and go get higher education, or, you know, work on this immigration issue or publication issue, but money is a problem. And maybe it's other people's money that is the problem right now. And if there are issues that are coming up that have been preventing you from moving forward in your ninth house, what's indicated is to work together. How can we work together in a way that satisfies all of us, that we can collaborate and work together to build something that matters? I'm feeling for a lot of Cancers, this is something to do with career or something tangible, because it's the Pentacles. Yeah, I'm feeling like for some of you guys, you may be feeling really impatient with this issue. Like, when is this gonna get resolved? I'm tired of feeling like the word that always comes to me with Saturn in the ninth is depression. And it's interesting because I would say Saturn in the third could also cause that, and Saturn in the first as well. But Saturn in the ninth, because the ninth is such an optimistic and expansive place, when we put Saturn there, it's making us have to reevaluate our sense of kind of like loose optimism. It's like, hey, let's tighten the ship. Let's see if this is actually grounded in something substantial. So for some of you guys, you may be feeling impatient, but what I'm hearing for a lot of you is that if you can continue to be patient and go on this new journey while making sure you stay open to collaboration. I mean, Pluto is about to just cross over into your eighth house from your seventh house. There are some emotional rewards that you can get at the end of this. So using this Saturn transit as a way to stay humble, stay within authority of your reactions, and try your best to collaborate with other people. On the same day, you have a full moon in your 11th house in Taurus, which is a culmination of some changes that you've been making or some things that you started. I'll talk about this more, but it's a culmination of some friend groups or some sort of network or organization that you're a part of that you have been working towards. But the 11th house can also just be feeling supported by the people around you. And so you're going to be illuminated something. You're going to see a culmination of that. And I'll have a video about that, so you don't need to worry too much about it. I'm feeling like a lot of Cancers are going to feel like creatively inspired during this time. And maybe that has something to do with your career. I'm not sure. But I think the best thing for Cancerians to do right now is to be open to new ideas, and also be open to feeling expansive and optimistic again. When Saturn retrogrades through this part of our chart, like I said, it can feel very heavy in our sense of optimism. And so we may feel like, well, it's not working. But what I'm feeling is that for a lot of you guys, you need to be willing to trust again. Trust that things can go your way. Something new is coming to you. You are going to embark on a new life direction in some way. Whether that's a new career, a new public status. And I feel like it's the Pluto in the 7th that's asking for collaboration and not trying to get engaged in a power struggle with other people. All right, Cancers, let me know how that resonates for you. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Saturn is moving direct in your 8th house. Saturn being in your watery 8th house. Saturn in all of the water houses is probably the most difficult and the most rewarding. I find those two things go together. When Saturn goes through this part of our chart, and especially when it's retrograde, it can feel quite heavy. For a lot of you guys, Saturn in the 8th may have felt like, number one, there have been transformations in your health or your relationships. And now And that has been kind of an inner process, and now you're ready to put it out into the world. For a lot of you, Saturn in the 8th can show up as restricted finances, whether that's shared resources with a partner or business partner, or just feeling like if you are embarking on a new journey and you're getting money from other people, like you're working with clients, that has not been so busy. Things have slowed down. And so you're feeling the restrictions in finances, but on a deeper level, this is the water house. So it's about relating intimately to other people. And that's why I think I got 2 water cup cards for you guys. I didn't get pentacles. The money thing may be real for many of you, of course, but I'm feeling at a deeper level, this is about finding people who resonate with you on a deep emotional level. Finding people who are in your frequency. And for some Leo rising, sun, moon, if you're single, you may find that you are going to meet someone who is on your level. And even if you're in a relationship, this doesn't have to be a relationship sort of vibe, although the 2 of Cups is very romantic. It also can indicate for some Leos that there's a decision that needs to be made about some sort of romantic affair. By affair, I don't mean like a negative affair, just some sort of romantic thing, whether that's a relationship or a dating situation. But for a lot of you guys, I feel like you're wanting to attract people who resonate with this sense of self that you've created, because Saturn in the 8th forges you from the inside out emotionally. And so you're being shaped and formed into this very reflective and self-aware person. And that's making you realize that there is a lack of people around you who resonate on that level. And you've got Jupiter in the 11th. Jupiter in the 11th right now is just wonderful because it allows you to garner support from others and to find the organizations, groups, networks that are supportive of you. But you first have to decide, what direction am I headed in? Mars is in your sign. What direction am I heading in? So that you can find the right organizations, people, groups to support you. This isn't as clear cut as it normally would be because Mars is going to go retrograde back into your 12th house and then forward again into Leo. And so whatever direction you're thinking of going through with now, it may be up for reevaluation next year. And I mean, really at the end of this year, because it goes retrograde December 6th, you're going to start this reevaluation process. And so then the groups that you need may change. The 6 of Cups may say that for a lot of Leos, there may be around this time when Saturn goes direct, some tending to the inner child that needs to happen. A lot of times when this card comes up, people are revisiting childhood places, childhood memories. And in other ways, this could be reclaiming some sort of a childhood innocence that you've lost. And for other people, it could be doing inner child work. The 6 is always about love, beauty, harmony. It's a Venus-ruled number. So if you look here, they're sharing, they're giving, there's generosity here. So it's asking you to remain open and generous with your love, with your compassion, with your emotions. The Saturn going into your 8th and then retrograde specifically creates some trust issues, right? Like there's this feeling of, I don't have the support that I need. And it also, like I said, forges this sense of self that makes you understand that, yes, having supportive people is important, but it's also important to support yourself. I feel like you've been recognizing that over the past few months, and now you're ready to really act on it. This has a lot to do with your job and your coworkers and your health and your daily routines, as well as your relationships. That's why I feel like there is definitely some decisions to be made for relationships. And like I said, it doesn't just have to be your romantic partner, your business partner, or your contracts people you have contracts with. It can also just be anyone that you're attracting to you. You're recognizing that you're not attracting the people that are resonating with you at a deep level. And so how can I change that? Well, for some of you guys, you're in the wrong job. So you're not going to have people around you that are going to be resonating with you. You're not in the right organization. For some of you guys, you're not in the right relationships. You don't have the right friendships. You don't have the right partner. You don't have the right business partner. And as Saturn starts to gain speed and start moving forward, I think you're going to really start seeing, and Mars progresses through your sign, I think you're really going to start seeing what you need to see. What is the issue here? Where does it start? And this is interesting. That is interesting to me. I was not expecting that. This is a card of feeling betrayed. It's a card of feeling like, that makes sense. The 8th house is a house of transformation. It's a house of death and rebirth. Really, mostly just death, honestly. But it's like, obviously, the rebirth always follows a death. And so for you guys, this may have felt like some sort of a death cycle these past few months while Saturn's been in retrograde. You may have been feeling super lonely, like you're doing this on your own, that you don't have support. My goodness. And yet, there is a new beginning that's available to you through this Saturn moving direct. And on the same day, we have a full moon in Taurus, which I'll make its own video for, but that's in your 10th house. That's a culmination of efforts that you've put in toward your career and how you want to be seen publicly. Pluto's about to move out of your 6th into your 7th. That's why I feel like I keep thinking about relationships. Pluto in the 7th can forge really amazing relationships. It can also be the death of many relationships. And we have to be strong enough to withstand that. And that's what Saturn in the 8th moving direct is gonna help us do. 4 days later, Pluto's going to move into our 7th house for good. Yes. All right, Leos, let me know how that resonates for you. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Saturn is moving direct in your 7th house. The last 4 months have been a deep contemplation about the people you have in your life, about contracts, about business partners, about romantic partners, about friendships. There is a lot going on, and now you've got Mars going into your 12th house, which is giving you the sense that there is your drives and passions need to go towards the subconscious, to spirituality, to isolation. This may be a time where a lot of Virgo sun, moon, and risings want to be alone. Mars being in the 12th house gives a sense of, I need to be in solitude in order to do what I need to do right now. Saturn being in the 7th will test your relationships with others, especially in one-on-one. So whether that's clients, best friend, business partner, like I said, any of those things. But it also is asking you to level up the way in which you relate to other people. Other people may be feeling like they're restricting you, but you're also being asked to set boundaries and show up with a maturity and a wisdom when relating to other people. Over the last 4 months, you've been in deep reflection about this. Jupiter is in your 10th house. Jupiter wants to expand, and it's retrograde right now, so you're dealing with some reflection there too. But overall, Jupiter's transit in your 10th wants you to expand your horizons, to set on a new path in your career, your public status, your legacy, how you are of service to the world. And so in the last 4 months, with these placements in your angular houses specifically, if you have anything between 12 to 19 degrees of Virgo, you have been feeling this retrograde very deeply, and this has very much been you. I need rest, I need contemplation, I need reflection. And that period is still ongoing, in my opinion, because of the Mars going into your 12th house. Mars will be retrograding back into your 11th. And at that point, you're going to be having to reevaluate who supports me, who is my community, who are my people. As Saturn is now moving direct in your 7th house, you can now actually start putting some things to the test that you've learned. You can actually start moving forward. Saturn in the 7th meant that retrograde meant that there have been obstacles and blockages in how you want to move forward with relationships and with relating to other people. Now, slowly, this is unraveling and new pathways are opening up. Before, where there was a restriction and you felt like you could only deal with this situation in one way, there are multiple ways opening up to you. The Hierophant, structure, tradition, spirituality, religion. Many of you guys may be, this is giving me Mars in the 12th house. You're looking to some set of beliefs. This could be astrology, this could be human design, this could be tarot, this could be some sort of framework. This could be Christianity, this could be Catholicism. Some sort of framework to help you understand what to do to move forward in your relationships. Now, January, the North Node is going to move into your 7th house. So this is very important. You're going to have Saturn and the North Node allowing you to build something in your 7th house. Relationships that can withstand Saturn going through the 7th house get a strength to them. But a lot of times what can happen is, the relationship crumbles. But it takes willingness on both parties' ends willingness to collaborate. A willingness to collaborate with other people in order to make a situation work. Virgos tend to be hermits, right? Especially if you're a Virgo rising, but even Virgo suns need quite a bit of time to themselves. They could be very social, but at the end of the day, the Virgo sign has a more reflective, loner type quality to it. Right? For a lot of you guys, this is being tested. You're being pushed out into the world in some way. With Saturn in your 7th, and then the North Node is going to follow suit as well. On the same day as this transit happens, November 15th, Saturn moving direct, you also have a full moon in Taurus. And for you guys, Taurus rules the 9th house. So that also could be what this is referring to, because the 9th house is much more structured than the 12th house. So I'm going to talk about that full moon in its own video, but just to let you see that a lot of beliefs are coming up to the surface to be re-examined around relationships and how you relate to other people, because this is going to be so important. And we are just on the precipice of Pluto moving into your 6th, where the emphasis on transformation in your life comes on health, work, service, sacrifice, illness, debts, karmic debts. And the 6th house is a very worldly house. So you're being pushed out into the world. And because of that, you have to leave some things behind. And I don't think that it's as bad as you think it is. I think that right now, you guys have been feeling maybe quite solemn about something, but I think that maybe Saturn has restricted your view. And I think that you are going to, during this transit, open up and see that there are 2 cups that are still standing up, and you've been focusing on the ones that fell down. Are you taking responsibility for how you show up in relationships to other people? Yeah, I feel like you guys are definitely headed on a new path regarding that, about how you show up and how you relate to others. And that's going to directly affect your social standing. So it could be affecting your career or some sort of status that you hold publicly, whether that's married, divorced, with child, without child. There's some change to your social status that is wanting to happen, but it's looking to your relationships and saying, what are we doing here? What's going on here? Are we taking responsibility? All right, Virgos, let me know how this resonates. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Libra, sun, moon, and rising. This transit, Saturn going direct, is going to be happening in your 6th house. The 6th house is a house of adversities, inequality, injustice, litigation, hard work, health and illness, daily responsibilities and daily routines, as well as your work. This is a very worldly house. So you are being pushed by Saturn to work hard out in the world. And this is not always easy. Saturn in the 6th can actually present some health challenges as well if we are not taking care of ourselves. For you guys, Saturn naturally rules your 4th and 5th house. So not taking care of yourself could look like not taking care of your emotional body, not taking care of your home situation, having issues with a mother, having issues with the children that are unresolved, not harnessing your creativity, not expressing yourself. These could present issues that present as work or health issues, but really there is a deeper cause to them. What is going on a deep emotional level for you? During the last 4 months, you have had Saturn retrograde in your 6th house, having to reflect upon the choices that you've made regarding your health, illness, and job, and the daily routines that you have, and the responsibilities that you bear. Are they something that is worthy to you? Is this worth sacrificing through hard work for? For many of you guys, you may be on a new path. Oh my God. Literally, as I said the words, you may be on a new path. And this is about a decision, about what path you want to take, and planning and working towards it. Some of you guys feel stuck. There is a south node in your 1st house, or on your Libra moon, or on your Libra sun. It is not easy. You must have a spiritual outlook. You are shedding so many layers of being. You have had to let go of so many aspects of yourself that your ego was clinging to. That is hard. Many of you are tired by this point. And you feel like that what you want doesn't matter. Saturn says tune into your intuition. And in that intuition, you find a new direction. This is Saturn in Pisces, the sign of intuition, the sign of the collective unconscious. You may be feeling stuck, but it's in your mind. And I'm not saying that to gaslight you into being like, it's not, that you don't have real problems. But what I'm saying is that the predominant emotion and the predominant thought, I'm stuck here, is in your mind. You guys have Mars in the 11th right now. You have a lot of desire to find the groups, communities, organizations that you want to belong in. Now, this area of your life is going to come back up for review because we're going to have retrogrades by December 6th. And so you may think you're going in a certain direction with what organization you want to do. So this may be for a lot of you guys showing up as work. That there's like a certain job, you work for a certain organization, and you're rethinking, is this something that I actually want to be doing? Is this honoring my true self by doing this job, by giving this service? Mars is in your 11th house, wanting to be in a supportive environment, in an environment that is conducive to your growth and for your hopes and dreams for the future. Just know that this is probably not going to be finalized just yet, right? You may have to wait until next year for things to actually move forward. And maybe that's not, maybe it's the new direction that you're taking on is not necessarily a new job. It's a new way of relating to the job. But for a lot of you guys, it could be a job. It may be for some of you guys deciding that you want to work from home or moving homes for a job. It may be some of you guys deciding that you want to have more creativity in your work, more self-expression in your work and in your daily life, and changing things because of that. But I'm hearing that a lot of you guys are not listening to your intuition as much as you could be. When we are having South Node transits, spirituality and intuition are our greatest guiding lights. And not having a spiritual practice can make it much more difficult. Pluto is leaving your 4th house for good 4 days after this transit. What transformations internally in your emotional world have you made? And are those reflected in your decision on how you want to live your life, on how you live day to day, on how you take care of yourself, on what work you do, on what service you give? Are you actually putting it to use in the real world? You guys have been through a lot over the last 16 years with Pluto in the 4th. It has been excavating deep emotional foundations, especially around the mother, and emotions, deep emotions from childhood, working on like inner child stuff. And in essence, that is coming to an end for you. Not saying you can't ever do that work again, but Pluto's power will no longer be there. It's going to go into your 5th house, which will feel easier because it's a fellow earth sign or a fellow air sign. But the 5th house will present its own thing about how you have fun and how you enjoy yourself, but you have this raw power still in the 4th, just a few days longer. How will you make use of that to change your actual physical reality? I do see for some of you guys a new job. I feel like that's, for a lot of you guys, it's the job is not feeling fulfilling anymore. And you're feeling like people around you are not supportive of you changing your life, and you're having to fight for it. And this is saying keep fighting. What you're fighting for is right if it's rooted from your intuition. I feel like I have so much to say to you guys lately. I feel like a lot of Libras need a lot of support right now. Well, we'll talk again for the full moon that's happening on the same day. In your 8th house. So also another money and relational house. So let me know how this resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Scorpio sun, moon, rising. Saturn is going to be moving direct for you guys in your 5th house of creativity, of self-expression, of pleasure, of joy, of entertainment, children, romance, love, a childlike spirit. Over the last 4 months, you may have felt blockages in your ability to give and receive love. Many of you guys may have felt like your self-expression or your creativity or your sense of joy in life, oh my goodness, I've gotten this for like 5 or 6 signs already. This is crazy. I really feel like Saturn going direct is opening up new pathways for everybody, and we're giving a direction to go on a new path. And for you guys, it's regarding your creativity, your love life, how you give and receive love, how you express yourself, how you show up unapologetically as you. I've been thinking lately, okay? I've been thinking, and my opinions on this change all the time as I move through different perspectives. I think Scorpio rising might be one of the most difficult placements to have, okay? And I'm not saying that to make you sad, okay? Of course not. I'm saying that because I feel like that ultimately gives you guys so much power and so much purpose, but you fight for it. And nobody, maybe people around you never know how much you freaking fight for it. So I want to say I see that in you guys. I see how much you guys, I'm specifically talking to Scorpio risings right now. I'm not saying Scorpio sun moons don't have those challenges, but I was just thinking about rising signs recently, and Scorpios, I'm seeing a trend of them really struggling a lot. And you're ruled by Pluto, which is a sign of struggle, but it's also the sign of transformation, growth, regeneration, power, influence. So it's a two-sided coin always. Anyway, maybe that's the oomph you needed to recognize your power and influence and how to express yourself more in that way. I don't know. Maybe not. So Saturn for you guys rules your 3rd and 4th house. So it's about communication and home life, right? So there's a transformation happening in your communications. I feel like I've been saying that a lot for you guys because of Pluto in the 3rd, leaving there 4 days after this forever, but also within your home life, your internal emotional world, but your actual physical home, your relationship with the mother, your emotional foundations, and your inner child. These are things that are completely transforming right now, and that is what is causing you to take a new direction. Because of those transformations, you are able to take this new path. And you're able to stand in your truth and be objective and clear without being with also having some sort of harmony and love attached to it. So it's not about sacrificing the way that you say or the things that you say, but it's also recognizing they're coming from a place of love and truth, not just truth no matter what. Pluto's influence can make you cutting, and it can get to the meat of something real fast. And that's such a beautiful, penetrating thing to have. But it can also make relating to other people difficult, right? And you guys want stability in your relationships. You have Taurus ruling the 7th house. Like, you guys want stability, but it's hard when you are constantly going through transformation, right? So the blockages in your creative life, in your love life, in your expression are starting to be lifted, and you're seeing new ways in which you can be creative, in which you can express yourself once Saturn goes direct. And on the same day, you have a full moon in your 7th house of partnership. So I definitely think for a lot of you guys, this is about relationships and how you relate to other people. And it's a culminating. So it's something that I know you guys have been working on already, on developing better skills, because you've been doing the work internally within your emotions and within your mind. I heard for a lot of you guys that a skill that you have loved is no longer working for you. This is the death of a skill, possibly. It's something you have to give up and start a new thing in your 5th house, a new creative hobby. And it doesn't mean that you have to give it up and never touch it again, but that something that you had been working on, some skill or something you had been learning, it needs transformation. So maybe you're not leaving it completely. For some of you, that may be true. But for a lot of you, it may be that you just need to do it in a different way. I think this is speaking to the changes you've made internally about learning to harness all of that power that I was telling you guys about in an internal way by pulling in those impulses. I mean, you guys are ruled by Mars and Pluto. There's a lot of impulse there, right? I talked about that in my Mars Pluto opposition video, or no, I think it was the new moon that we recently had. One of the recent videos I did, whatever. I talked about that, where you guys are ruled by these impulsions that are sometimes conscious, sometimes unconscious. You guys have had a lot of Scorpio risings right now. Honestly, you have a chance to have great spiritual liberation right now. Not, enlightenment and now you're like a Buddha, but enlightenment in the sense that you have these flashes of understanding about life that could really help you move forward. Because Pluto is moving from your ruler is moving from your 3rd house into your 4th house. And you're entering a new era of transformation on a very deep emotional level, in your foundations, unlike you have experienced before. So you're getting ready to dive even deeper. And Mars has just entered Leo, which is your 10th house. So this is your life direction creator. That's what I'm saying. I'm picking up on a lot of you guys are starting a new hobby or starting a new business or something. And that's what Saturn going direct after all this period of contemplation is giving you the energy to do. But it's not quite ready yet because Mars is going to go back into Cancer, into your 9th house, and then move back into your 10th house. So I think early next year, you're going to see you're going to really understand what it is you're meant to move forward with, but it's not there quite yet. Maybe for some of you guys it is, but just be open to revisions on that. Okay, let me know, Scorpios, how you resonate with that. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Saturn is moving direct in your 4th house. Having Saturn in the 4th is one of the more difficult placements, along with the 8th and 12th. Okay? Saturn in the watery houses makes us have to really gain a lot of strength emotionally. It can make us feel very isolated emotionally, especially in the 4th house, because that's the most personal water house. It can make us feel quite isolated. And so for the last 4 months specifically, it feels even heavier. You've been doing a lot of reflection on your home life, on your home, where you live. Is it supporting you? You've been doing a lot of reflection on your deep emotional roots and your foundations emotionally, your inner private life. Maybe your relationship with your mother, maybe your mom has been creating some blockages, or your mother has been creating some blockages, or you felt like you want to move or you want to do something different with your house, but there's been blockages of something and you're not quite sure what. Well, for you guys, Saturn rules your 2nd and 3rd house. So money is probably a thing. Money is probably a part of that. Your income is probably a part of that. Also, your sense of value is a part of that. Do you think you're worth the changes that you want to make? But for a lot of you guys, Saturn moving direct could look like gates opening for you to move elsewhere. Some of you guys, it just may be changes in the home. So someone leaving, someone coming. It could also be something regarding like redecorating the home or doing renovations or something that were blocked because of money and now they're opening up. Or the lines of communication were blocked and now they're opening up in the home or with people who you have a deep emotional connection with, or people that you live with. Maybe for a lot of you guys, I was just going to say, maybe for a lot of you guys, there has been tension within the home life or the inner private life. And I'm laughing because the Emperor can be quite harsh and cruel when it is not in integrity. So I wonder if for some of you guys, especially if you have anything between 12 to 19 degrees of Sagittarius, where Saturn has been retrograding, you've been quite difficult to deal with. Or somebody in your home has been quite difficult to deal with. 2 major arcanas, and of course you guys are one of the mutable signs who is being affected by Saturn's movements. So I definitely feel some changes happening. I feel like lines of communication are opening for you, especially within the home, maybe with a mother. And I also feel like money is opening up for you, income, and you're sensing your self-worth in a different way. Your ruler, Jupiter, is currently retrograde. So keep in mind that though things are going to start moving, they might move slowly until February when Jupiter actually moves direct as well. And that's in your 7th house, which is going to open up a lot of relationship opportunities for you because right now you're in a reflective phase around that as well. But I got the Magician, which tells me that you have quite the ability right now to construct your physical reality. Use that to your advantage because Saturn in the 4th has given you a lot to deal with and a lot to work with emotionally in terms of blockages and feeling restricted and feeling like the inner life feels isolated. It feels harsh. It feels cruel. Maybe you've been cruel to yourself, not just other people. Or, just yourself or just other people. You're moving away from that though. I am sensing a lot of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising are moving or they're wanting to move because this is moving away from a negative situation. So like I said, it could be a physical move. I'm feeling that for a lot of you guys, but I also feel like for a lot of you guys, you're moving away from a difficult situation or a negative situation within the home within your emotional foundations, and it's been chaotic and it's been really difficult, and you're moving into smoother waters now. Your mental is better. Your mental health is gonna open up. Because like I said, Saturn naturally rules your second and third, and the third is your mind. And so now you're going to start seeing that there is an ability for your communication and for your money to open up, and that can allow you to make some changes within the home. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot for you guys. See, yeah, and the tarot is just repeating. This is very emotional in nature. And we also have the Six of Pentacles, which is what I'm saying, what I'm feeling about the second house being activated, is that this is a card of generosity and give and take. I feel like this has come up for you guys quite a bit, this give and take situation. Mars is in your 6th house right now. So you've got some energy going towards your health, work, any issues coming up right now. Yeah, I feel like for a lot of you guys, work is starting to pick up again, or will be starting to pick up again. Which Mars is going to go retrograde, so it may kind of go forward and then backwards before it really moves forward for good. But for a lot of you guys, I feel like continuing to be generous to others, I feel like I've been telling you guys that a lot, and I feel like that's still indicated right now. And you will be rewarded for that. You will be rewarded for that. This is generosity on a physical level, so being generous with your resources, but I also feel like for many of you guys, you have to learn to be generous with yourself emotionally and other people emotionally too, and that you are going to get some sort of happy ending from that, whether that's in your emotional life or your career or your job or something, but there is emotional fulfillment coming from that. So Sag, let me know how that resonates for you guys. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Saturn is going direct in your 3rd house of communication, of learning, of short trips, your immediate environment, neighbors, sibling, cousins, your mind. Yeah, all sorts of communication. So speaking, thoughts, all that. So for the last 4 months, you may have felt that you were reviewing how you communicate. You are reviewing how you think internally to yourself. You are reviewing your immediate environment and if it was conducive to you at the time, to what you wanted to do. For a lot of you guys, I feel like this has had to do with communication. And you guys have been reflecting deeply about what it means to communicate effectively. When Saturn is retrograde in a part of our chart, it brings some blockages and it makes it feel heavier to communicate. And so for some of you guys, this has probably been a very internal process. So you haven't been sharing this process with a lot of people, but internally you've been recognizing that the way that you speak to others isn't the way that you want to speak to others. And that starts with yourself, right? So monitoring your own thoughts has been important for you. Another thing that you guys may have been thinking about are reflecting upon what skills are going to help you move forward in this life. Which means that you may have had to decide to move away from a emotionally dissatisfying situation. And you've recognized that this situation cannot give you what you need. Now, I'm feeling that for a lot of you guys, there's been a creative spark. Or there will be a creative spark once Saturn starts moving direct that is going to help you as you're moving away from something and into something new. Mars has just moved into your 8th house, and Mars moving into your 8th house gives you immense emotional courage. Immense emotional courage for change. And change means leaving something behind, generally, right? transformation, but it seems like it's not so much transformation as it is change. I feel like I'm not getting transformation vibes. You're just recognizing that something is no longer working, and you may have been trying to escape that for a while, especially since Saturn's been retrograde. You may have been trying to just pretend that that thing is not existing and that everything's okay. But now you've got this new creative urge and you're deciding, you're figuring out what skills you really want to work on that are going to help you progress. Like I said, yeah, for a lot of you guys, I feel like this is related to a job because Saturn rules your first and second house, right? So whenever it makes movements, it involves your sense of self, your life direction, like where you are headed, as well as your income and money. So I think a lot of you guys right now are thinking, yeah, what skill sets, what do I need to learn in order to make more money? And I'm hearing that this creative spark that you're having and the work that you've done on your communication and being willing to leave something behind that may be emotional for you guys. I'm hearing for a lot of you guys, this may have to do with another person. So it may be a business partnership, it may be a contract, it may be a romantic partnership, because it's very emotional in nature. It's something that you're very emotionally tied to. Now, it could also be a career that you've put a lot of effort into and emotion into. But the Ten of Pentacles is like this new move that you want to make. You're really focusing on how is it going to affect my income? You guys are really focused on, I just keep hearing, what skills do I need to learn and get serious about in order to build what I'm trying to build in my career, in this new life direction. I want to make more money. And I always say, not all Capricorns are money hungry at all. I think that's just not fair to say that Capricorns are money hungry. I think that Capricorns like to achieve and they like to have social impact. And sometimes money is indicated in that. But this is coming up in as fulfillment in your earthly realm, of abundance in your earthly realm that you're looking for right now. For a lot of you guys, that may just be the fact that you need to save money, that you need to save money right now. I'm trying to think. You guys still have North Node in the 4th house. So a lot of changes going on in your internal world. Many of you guys have probably been like deciding to start therapy around this time, or some sort of delving deep into the emotional realm. Many of you guys have moved and have moved maybe multiple times even, because the North Node is just grasping for something. And the day that this Saturn moves direct, you have a full moon in your 5th house. I think that's what is, you're recognizing this creative spark that is coming through that is strong enough to help you move towards something. I got your card, the Devil. For many of you guys, this is not as easy as I'm saying. These are like leaving this situation behind or this pattern behind. It seems like you have some sort of a, oh my gosh, well, Pluto's in your sign at the 29th degree for 4 more days after this happens. So for some of you guys, I'm feeling like this process I'm talking about, this you leaving and having this emotional courage to leave situations that you are no longer happy in. This is a pattern. This is an addiction that you guys have. This has chained you in so many ways. Whatever this pattern is. And, you know, you have Mercury in your 12th house at this time. So it's allowing you to kind of access some sort of unconscious behaviors around this and to break the addictions. Mars going into the 8th. Oh my gosh, I just thought of that. That's so much energy on emotional courage to break addictive cycles. Wow. Okay, Capricorns, let me know how this resonates for you. I'm excited to see what doors open up for you as Saturn releases the blockages in understanding what is worthy for you to pursue in terms of skills, how you can communicate in a more effective way, and what changes need to be made in your immediate environment to support this new journey that you're headed on. Because it's really that, it's a new journey. Like I said, your first house ruler is going direct. So it's opening up so many new pathways for you. So let me know how this resonates for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. For my Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising, Saturn is going direct in your second house, opening up your stream of income, opening up money and resources that maybe for the last few months have felt like, it feels like for a lot of you guys may have wanted to find a new source of income, but you for some reason kept feeling pulled back in some way, and or having blockages. Like maybe that could have shown up in financial some sort of financial responsibilities that came to you over the last 4 months that then took away some of your resources, took away some of your money. When Saturn's in the second house, it doesn't just put pressure on our finances, it also puts pressure on us and our self-worth and our self-esteem and what we feel like we are worthy of and what we value in this life. Saturn in the second is saying, what do you actually care about? And in what ways can we solidify that so that when we move into the third house, we can then start learning the skills and communicating about the things that and making our immediate environment be able to sustain those new values, those new ideas. Saturn naturally rules your 12th and first house. So this is about a new direction for you. This is also about spiritual growth. You know, whenever Saturn moves direct for you, it's always going to affect your 12th and first house. So you may have wanted, like I said, for a lot of you guys, I'm feeling like it was a new job that you wanted or a new way of making money, and it just wasn't going the way that you wanted. And so therefore you felt like your whole sense of direction was stifled, and you were kind of pulled back into this, like, what do I want and why do I want it? And I think when Saturn goes direct, you're going to be having a new sense of hope in the direction that you're headed in. And 4 days later, Pluto goes into your sign. And currently Mars is in your 7th house. So collaboration and cooperation may not be the easiest thing right now. You may be wanting to be kind of forceful with other people, or you are experiencing other people as being very forceful with you. And this is saying, you know, make sure we're not losing that, because once Pluto moves into your first house, especially, you're going to feel this sense of power, and other people are going to sense that as well. And so the power struggles begin, right? Because that Pluto-Mars opposition is going to continue once we have Pluto in Aquarius and Mars in Leo. And now it's in your sign. Before it was in your 12th and 6th house. Now it's going to be in your house and other people's. So there could be a lot of power struggles. So maintain a sense of collaboration. How can we work together on this? Maybe for some of you guys, this is your money situation, is you're working together with other people in order to build something, build a job, build some sort of income. Throughout this retrograde Saturn, I think that you guys have earned a new sense of emotional understanding about what do I actually want to put into the world, and also how do I want to make money, and having a sense of self-worth through doing some subconscious work. And you guys are moving forward with some new emotional strain. Yeah, I said that, and then I realized that on the same day that Saturn moves direct, we have a full moon in Taurus in your 4th house. So it does feel like there is a culmination. You've been doing a lot of internal work, and there is a culmination that you're seeing, and it's going to be affected in your ability to make money and how you view yourself and your values and your job and your income and your resources and all of these things in this new direction that you're heading on. Because not only is it your first house ruler moving direct, but it's also like I said, Pluto moving into that house, your first house. Man, okay, yeah, this is it's like you're emerging from the shadows, like Pluto in the 12th coming into the first, And now Saturn going direct in the second, it's like opening up your ability to speak about something. It's opening up your ability to put yourself out there again. You know, you have North Node in the third house of communication, of travel, of your immediate environment. And maybe you guys have been learning a lot over the past year or so with North Node, year and some months with North Node in the third. And now you're ready to like actually put yourself out there in a way. And for a lot of people, this is, yeah. Okay. So for a lot of people, this Pisces going direct is opening up new pathways. And for many of you guys, you have been stuck in some sort of indecision because you felt like you didn't have the information. Now, either that information is going to be provided for you when Saturn starts going direct. It's kind of slow to start, yes, but as the days and weeks unfold, maybe you'll start gathering the information, or maybe you'll just take a leap of faith and you'll just make a decision and trust yourself. Yeah, see, for a lot of you guys, I feel like it's a new way of making money. It's a new job, something you've been working on like that. I feel like you guys have been inundated with choices, like too many choices to make. And feeling like, oh, well, if I go this way, then I'm going to lose these cups. So and then focusing on like, well, what have I already lost? Like Pluto in the 12th, it's just been very difficult in that way. But I feel like you guys are entering such a new powerful era in which you're going to have money, in which you're going to have influence and power. Oh my God, I just felt so much energy come to me when I was thinking about it. And you guys are feeling like, I've been going through it, Jazz. I've been going through it. And I feel like things are just going to start opening up for you guys very soon. And all of this indecision that you've had in these choices, I feel like you're going to be called to choose something. I feel like you're going to get called to actually choose it. Even if you don't know all of the answers, I think you're going to have trust in yourself to take that leap of faith. Aquarius, let me know how this resonates. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. I will see you guys next time. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. Saturn is going direct in your sign. Now, specifically if you have anything between 19 to 12 degrees of Pisces, you have been feeling the effects of Saturn retrograde over the past 4.5 months since June. So I want you to think about what things have been feeling difficult for you. It could really have been that you feel like you don't know where you are going in your life. And you've been called to reevaluate, where am I headed? Who am I? What am I doing? And as Saturn starts going direct, you're ready to put some of that knowledge from all that reflection out into the world. Now, your other ruler, Jupiter, is... I'm sorry, not your other ruler, but your ruler, Jupiter, is still retrograde during this time. So though you are starting this process of really putting things out there that you've been reflecting on, know that it might be around February of next year when things really start moving more quickly for you. But still, don't discount this time. You are naturally a reflective sign, and you have been tasked with going even deeper with Saturn in your first house. Like I said, Saturn in the first is like forging you into a new person. How do I want to show up in the world with authority? And now you are ready to move forward. And for a lot of you guys, this is going to be manifesting as a new way of making money. Although I do want to say, as I was shuffling, I got these cards already. I forgot about them because I put them to the side. But I got the moon reversed and I got the 5 of wands. So I feel like for some of you guys, actually, there has been some discord in your life recently, and fighting and arguments. And that's been throwing you off kilter or making you unsure of how you are supposed to move forward. This is a check-in. When the moon is reversed, it's telling me there's a check-in that's necessary for your spiritual journey. Are you listening to your intuition when it comes to these things? Are you listening to Saturn when it comes to these things about being patient, being humble, and having the strength in yourself to understand, and the intuition and the wisdom, because this is a Neptunian card, so it's kind of one of your cards, and it's reversed, and it's making me feel like you haven't known which direction to go, and there's been conflict because of that. And it's also telling me that if you listen to your intuition at this time, you need to gauge pretty much, are you deceiving yourself in some way, or are you just neglecting your intuition altogether? And that's not something that I can tell you. It's something that you have to investigate for yourself. I feel like for some of you guys, life has been really busy lately, and maybe, busy with the arguments or conflict, or just busy in terms of you've had a lot to handle, you've had a lot to do. For some of you guys, this may be that you're juggling multiple ways of making money, and it doesn't feel like any of that is really enough still. And so you're seeking a new way of making money, because the North Node is in your second house and it's about to go into your first. So I feel like you guys have been trying to find like a way to make money, and it feels like for a lot of you guys, you're feeling like nothing is enough. And on this same day, actually, you have a full moon in Taurus, which is in your third house. So maybe for a lot of you guys, there's been something that you've been learning over the past 6 months that you are now learned in, and you are ready to communicate that out into the world and put it out into the world and make money from that. For some of you guys, yeah, it's something about learning communication and making money, and this journey on you becoming a new person, a new identity, allowing yourself to expand. Mars is also in your 6th house, so it's making me feel like, once again, this is a work house, this is a health house. So are you taking care of yourself? Number one. Sometimes when Mars goes into the 6th, it can really showcase some health issues that have been lingering and now they're coming to the forefront. But the cool thing about Mars being in the 6th is that it gives you the energy necessary in order to take those health issues on. It also gives you the energy to work and figure out what is worth sacrificing for and working hard toward. And I got the Magician. It feels like you have a lot of ability right now now that Saturn's going direct in your sign. You have a lot of ability to create the life that you want. What is it that you discovered during this retrograde period of 4 months? Now, Capricorn. Now, Saturn naturally rules your 11th and 12th house, and Pluto has been in your 11th house. We've talked about that a lot, so I'm not going to go into it. But what this is telling me is that your idea of who supports me, what groups are good for me, what is my intuition telling me, these are all factors that you consider now that Saturn's moving direct. It's not just about how am I making money, but what organizations, what groups, what communities do I feel supported in, and in which direction do I feel spiritually called to? This new way of making money, this new job, this new way of making money, let's just put it there, is really predicated on all of this unconscious work that I've done, and all this work around who do I want to be surrounded with? Who do I want supporting me? Jupiter's in your 4th house right now, really just expanding your sense of your inner world. Your inner world has been expanding, has been so optimistic and growth oriented. Many of you guys may have decided to seek some sort of therapy or do something that allows you to explore your inner world. And Jupiter's in retrograde right now, like I said, so that may be still making you feel quite introverted, like you want to step out, but it's not quite time yet. And that's what I'm feeling like. February of next year, you can step out now if you feel good, but I sense that for a lot of you guys, you're not feeling 100% there. And February, by then, the North Node's going to be in your sign. Saturn's going to be in your sign, giving support and structure to that North Node. And Jupiter is going to be going direct in your 4th house. I also want to add that this new direction that you're working towards regarding work or your health, if you're having health issues, know that Mars is in its shadow, right? So it's going to go retrograde December 6th, and it's going to go back into your 5th house and then move forward back into your 6th house. So that area of self-expression, creativity, and work and health, those two things kind of being bridged together, are not set in stone yet. So remain flexible as your Piscean self does, because there is a whole new path that's opening up for you. And I think you just have to be a little bit more patient, even though Saturn's going direct. I think what he's really trying to give you, among many other things, is patience and trusting the timing. And I think that for a lot of you guys, like, yes, movement forward is happening, but there is still a little bit more time for you to really feel it. All right, Pisces, let me know how this resonates for you guys. Make sure you like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.